Ahoy there, all you Saga pirates out there. Rodge here, aka the Wisco Horndog. This is Saga Thursday, your regular source for Saga, the miniatures game content. This week we're picking up right where we left off with part 2 of our Norse-Gael review. I am chatting these guys up with Mr. John Stentz, the Silver Fox, and we are just going to get into it right now. We've got the Osmunds Fury. This is a melee reaction. Osmunds? Is that how?
No, I think it's Osmunds.
Osmund.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is a pronunciation of Eastman Fury.
Yes.
Irish. I'm not really going to attempt it, but okay, we're good with that.
You're going to throw us an accent? Come on, throw us a bone, Joe.
The Osmunds Fury. I can't do Irish.
I think it's a German word, it's a Germanic word, so I don't think anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
Am I up on this one?
Yeah, why don't you go for it?
Okay. So here we have another melee reaction, another challenge. Resolve the challenge, and this is a uncommon or a rare, and the rare is key to one of the options on it.
Okay, see a little boost.
So the unit of the defeated champion will only generate half its normal amount of attack dice, or if it was a rare, a third of its attack dice. So that's a big kind of handicap. You win that challenge and you take a lot of attacks, potentially a lot of attacks away, depending on who you're fighting.
Yeah, definitely more bang for your buck. Another kind of an anti-large unit type ability where they're going to be hit more, going from 24 to 12 attacks. Is a bigger deal than 10 to 5, for example.
24 to 8.
Yeah, I guess that would be a situation then where you'd use the rare. Most times, I think if you're in single digits or low teens, the rare is probably just going to mean an extra 1 or 2 attacks. But going against that big one, 24 to 8, that'd be a kick in the gonads. Going against berserkers, 16 to 6, third.
Something like that.
Yeah, that could be pretty gnarly. So, I know you said you didn't use Unbowed that much. Do you prefer this one then, or?
Yeah, I tend to. My top 3 challenges are dual show of strength and Osmunds Fury, because they're just single dice. They're just easier to get.
Oh, okay.
Get your dice working for you. There's another one coming up down the line that we'll talk about soon, which is the most awesome challenge ever, but
okay.
Set up the dramatic entrance of that one. But I like this one. Like you said, it's you're wanting against big units, little units. A lot of times my opponents are like calculating, like, should I fight this one? Because if this guy dies, how many dice do I get if I lose? And if he declines, how many dice do I get if he, if I count as losing? And they're just, sometimes it's like, I might as well fight it because I'm not actually, it doesn't matter either way. And then that's the time where they roll the 6, you flub it, and you're like, and now I've got half the attacks. That's not the way I planned it in my head.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's a good point that this is just a single dicer, because we've seen three double ones already. So it seems like it's kind of dice intensive overall. So you'd be searching for those single dicers when you can. So yeah, that's a good point. Looking like a decent ability here. Moving down, we got Slaughter. This is a straight up melee ability, also used as an uncommon and rare. During this melee, all attack dice rolls of both sides with the result of 1 are considered to be hits regardless of the target's armor value. And then if you burn the rare, attack dice rolls of 1 or 2 are also considered hits. So both sides, so double-edged sword here.
It is.
You're just basically amping up the death and destruction. But if you have some other abilities that are giving you the extra dice or rerolls or something like that, I'm sure you can make it in your favor. I'm picturing some scenarios here where you're going against warriors with the Dane axis, so it's 3s to hit, and then pop the rare on this boy, and 8 dice, 8 hits, or 10 dice, 10 hits. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, you figured it out quick. That's exactly it. If you can get, heck, even if you can get the Suicide Squad coming in, Howling Axis and Slaughter on the Hearthguard, you just keep saying as you're rolling the dice, no 3s, no 3s, no 3s. You know, you just want the 1, 2, 4 up.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a single pip of fatigue that you can get in your favor, and then it's auto hit anyways on them.
It is. It is.
So that could be
Slaughter.
Same thing with the Warlord.
Yeah.
That's definitely some slaughter. I can see why you're calling these suicide squads, as they're probably not going to be making it through. It's kind of reminiscent of
not coming back to the ship.
The berserkers from the Viking warband, but you just have a whole bunch of them just foaming at the mouth, waiting for their turn to rush in and gain the power. So, oh, cool. That's really fun. Yeah, anytime you can just hit automatically, that's pretty good. Straight up hits in Saga are pretty juicy. So, yeah, that one that was pretty fun. Do you have any good stories about that one? About killing stuff?
Yeah, what's really gratifying is when you go in and you've got Slaughter up and you roll your dice and you look at them and there's like 5 1s on the board and you just laugh because you're like, oh, that would have been the worst, but now it's the best.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like anti-flub protection, where you're like, well, I just really want to kill you, and I just want to make that happen. And you can kill me as well. I'm fine with that, as long as I can kill you for sure. That does seem to be like all my master strokes. Whenever I use 2 or 3 abilities, basically the number of Saga abilities I use are like inversely proportional to the number of hits I get on the dice. So just having, this is it, and then so something like this looks pretty fun. I definitely could have a lot of fun with this, because it's fun because the other guy's killing a lot of stuff too. So generally, if the other guy can kill stuff, everybody's having a good time all around. Okay. Next.
I was just going to interject that this one does combo well with Unbowed because of the reroll. If you're not auto hitting, I mean, if you're going to auto hit, then no. Well, you still get the defense rolls.
Yeah, it kind of help you make it. If you want your unit to live, you can make it through. If you're just using the uncommon, so it's just the 1s, and you still make maybe 2s or 3s, it would combo really well.
Yeah.
But okay, do you want to do who's next, John?
Who's next? I love this one just because, I mean, you can get into the game. Like when we're in the Saga Hall and Adepticon, there's usually some fun about when the Viking guys get Ragnarok and they yell Ragnarok. So as a Norse-Gael player, I'm jealous. I want something to go like that. So who's next? That's where it comes in. Just because anybody who's played against Norse-Gael generally knows what who's next will do to you, and they cringe, like they're like, oh god, not who's next. So
awesome. I love it.
It's fun just to do the mental jihad on that. But all right, let's talk about it. So it's another challenge, and it's an expensive one. It's the uncommon plus the rare.
Yeah, that can be pretty difficult to get sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes if you get that rare and you're kind of thinking ahead, you park it on this spot and you're just like, all right, I've got one loaded in, I just gotta get the B.
This is one of those where you're parking dice ahead of time. Okay. Well, it's got to be good. Let's hear it.
Okay, so your opponent chooses to either remove 3 of their figures engaged in this melee, or let you resolve a challenge that cannot be refused. If you win this challenge, immediately resolve this ability again.
Oh my gosh.
So, it is a fight to the death. It's it does all right. So it sounds like it slaughters either side, but it actually when the Norse-Gael player loses, then it's over.
Okay.
But the Norse-Gael player wins. It does it again. We're gonna fight me again. Fight me again. Fight me again. It goes like that. So.
And then at some point, they're just tempted to cut their losses and be like, "Fuck it, take the 3. I'm done with this."
Yeah. So generally, the people who have played the Norse-Gael know that that's the right move.
Just remove 3 of your guys.
It depends on how the Norse-Gael player has set up who's fighting it. The optimal way to do it
Warlord.
is the Warlord with a +1. Yeah.
There's no way, yeah.
There's just, I've flubbed the roll, once ever, but mostly that's an auto hit. And so, you tend to want to, as the Norse-Gael player, you want to point that Warlord and his group of body buddies, and you point that at that big nasty unit of Hearthguard, and you go in and hit him with this, and they're like, son of a bitch, they're going to take 3 Hearthguard off. Because it's funny, the few times, usually I will explain to my opponent who hasn't played Norse-Gael, so here's how this works. And they're like, oh, that's fun, let's do this. Okay, the parts shouldn't do this, all right, let's do it. And after you've bled their entire unit dead, then they're like, oh, now I see how I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, this is brutal. So it just removes the 3 figures outright. There's no defense rolls or anything like that.
Nothing.
Like you said, you're going against Hearthguard. It's almost like an entire saga point of models you're taking off without a fight, but it might be your best move at that time. So, oh wow, that is definitely juicy stuff there. I can see who's next. Yeah, with great enthusiasm. Every time you win that challenge, who's next?
Yeah.
Who's next? Oh, cool. Well, that is pretty badass. And we're going to wrap it up with the death dance here. Just a common. It's a melee. Add up to 4 fatigues to your unit. Okay, this is interesting. During step 4 of this melee, each unit engaged takes a number of extra hits equal to the number of fatigues your unit has taken with this ability. Fatigues gained this way may not exceed the exhaustion threshold of the unit. Okay, another Suicide Squad thing going on here.
Not necessarily, but yes, but not necessarily.
Oh, okay. Why don't you tell me how this usually works out?
So I would describe this ability as the one defensive melee ability that the Norse-Gael have, even though it's still not actually defensive. But I say it that way because the mechanics of this tend to work best when you are the defender. And the reason for it is that they've come in, they have done their step 3 melee abilities, including potentially using your fatigue, bringing you maybe down to 0 fatigue. Now, as the defender, you go second. You can play your fatigue with no potential consequences other than going up to exhaustion. But you can put three auto hits on with warriors, 4 auto hits on with Hearthguard or the Warlord, and 4 auto hits. Holy buckets! Like you said, anytime you don't have to roll dice to create hits, that's sweet.
Yeah, that's some good stuff, and especially working that defensive angle. If you're fighting defensively as well, the number of attack dice you're rolling don't really matter. It's just the number of fatigues you're taking. So you're going to get some defensive dice here to help you potentially make it through those hits everybody's taken. But okay, for just a single common, looking pretty cheap. Do you use this one a lot?
Yeah. It seems to be a little bit like late stage of the game usage. Maybe even just saving it for the last turn, where you don't. I like to get the maximum effect from it, so I typically do want to go to the exhaustion level. Mm-hmm. If it's a suicide squad, I don't care. But if it's a main squad or the warlord, I don't want to exhaust him for subsequent rounds. So I wait, hold it in to the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. And this one, too, since the attack dice you're generating don't matter, you could have one guy basically use this. If he was a Hearthguard, generated 4, he could put 4 automatic hits on the other guy.
Yeah.
Even though he only has 2 attack dice, because this is kind of outside the normal sequence of events here, and you're just adding them on top of the other stuff. So
he's going out in style.
Yeah, he probably won't make it through that one, but depending on what you're up to, another kind of benefit of a smaller unit, perhaps. So, okay, cool. That was fun going through these. Yeah, definitely. A couple things. So one, I think it is a more advanced board, not a beginner board, because just when we were talking, there was a lot of stuff. The sequences mattered, and the wording on it could be taken different ways. And like you're talking about step 4 of the melee, and there's nuance with the attacks and stuff you're generating. But overall, the way that it's played, where it's working for you and it's also working for them a little bit. And it's just causing more death all around. It looks really fun. It looks like it'd be really fun to play. Is that your assessment?
It is. It's a great list. If you like melee, it's a ton of fun. And when you're playing those scenarios that have endless warbands, it just the amount of slaughter points gets silly. Just if you get two warbands who want to punch face, you can just. So many versus Vikings. Oh, so many people going to Valhalla. It's so awesome.
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So talking about maybe warband construction stuff. So you can take the Dane axes, and you got some options for javelins on the warriors as well. Do you ever run any javelin guys?
I don't, and it really is purely from theme. I wanted the theme to be everybody is toting a Dane axe. A couple years ago, I picked up from Wargames Foundry. They've got some fantastic models that are all basically Viking berserkers, and so. I was looking for a reason, a place to use these models, and then said, Norse-Gael, that's the ticket. So it felt right. The theme of their board is all about killing stuff, and so that's where I went. And I don't have anybody armed with javelins, so I just said, let's just stick with the theme.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, overall, I don't think you really need them. I mean, I'm sure you've found out, but I think you have enough abilities that you can get after those cav warbands. Like with the like Stone's ability, you have the ability to reach out and touch them, and then sometimes the problem is when you finally get to them, you have so much fatigue that you're not effective, but you have different workarounds on your board. So even just a couple guys getting there can really do the damage. To make up for that. So, but on the other hand, the javelin guys, you have a lot of great melee abilities. So the extra attacks and stuff, that unit is still going to kill a lot of stuff. It's not like they're disadvantaged in melee, really. But a lot of that +5 for the howling axes, that's pretty juicy. It's pretty swaying.
It's super juicy.
Cool. Do you have any nemesis scenarios or nemesis warbands for these guys?
They're definitely hard pressed to get after warbands like Bretons, warbands like Spanish. Mm-hmm. Everybody kind of is, I suppose. Anybody on foot. It's hard to chase down the foot guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I could relate some experiences playing scenarios like Sacred Ground, where I just go grab the Sacred Ground and just wait for the cav to come in. I faced off against Welsh that were all mounted super Death Star of cav, and just had a bad day rolling 4+ saves. If I'd rolled better, it would have been fine, but just couldn't make the armor saves. But then I had a flip side game against Militus Christi, and he powered his stuff up, and I just sat in that terrain and was like, I just sat there with these abilities we talked about on the board, just like I didn't even roll dice from turn to turn. I like how the board looks now. I just wait here and count my victory points, and then back to you. So come get me.
Yeah, I'm loaded up here. I'm ready. To bring some pain. Cool. So this seems like a board where I'm thinking about priests right now, and specifically the warrior priest. Thematically, seems weird to fit him in, but just from the challenge mechanics and stuff like that, it looks like he could fit in pretty well. Just with 3 attacks base is pretty good. You not even necessarily have to pop him up to his 6. But have you ever used a warrior priest or considered with these guys?
I haven't used him, but I've seen him used, and he was pretty effective. So I agree. I think the warrior priest has got some mileage. Sometimes you play those games and you have that one unit, that one point of guys that you just seems to be stuck behind, gets left in the zone. Mm-hmm. Never enough dice to move everybody. So maybe that would be the reason to consider trying the warrior priest, but I personally haven't, and I guess I can't speak on it a lot.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and I'm thinking about the other two. You don't really need rares that much. Do you really need the rares on this one, John? Doesn't really. No. I mean, who's next would be brilliant. But
there's a couple of spots rares are good, but you don't need them.
Mm-hmm.
Or the averages are you'll roll 1, and that'll be effective enough to when you do need it.
Yeah, it's not like you need to burn multiples of those. So, okay. Yeah. Good stuff here. So, going up against the Norse-Gaels, is there any advice you can give to us poor, pathetic souls when facing these guys across the bet?
Just go to the bar, get some beer for you and your opponent. No, they're similar to play against, like a lot of boards where if they've built their board and they've kept it to use in your turn, then you have to be careful. You can't just say, all right, we're going to have this one fight. We'll fight this one. That's what I'm setting up for. Because, then the Norse-Gael are going to be like, yeah, let's do all these challenges and just roll through and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have to pick on the weaker units that have a less likelihood of the challenge mechanic coming off. Like, pick a warrior unit that is only going to have one dice roll and try to set up your guy, set up with your warlord. That's going to be a good way to counteract the effectiveness of the challenge mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the opportunity where the Norse-Gael have completely emptied their board in their turn, that's when you attack, because that's like so many factions. That's when they're naked. It's time to go get them.
I can definitely see that. Definitely an attack focused board, and when they don't have anything left in the tank, that's when you go in and take them down. So cool. It's interesting with the challenges, because if you're going to lose them anyways, you just want to decline, but there's a small chance always that you can just turn around. Is there any tales or anecdotes or anything where you had it all lined up and you were ready to go, and then just a challenge went the other way and basically collapsed the plan or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. Like one that sticks in my mind is at the Grand Melee. I'm playing against a Viking player, and he's a great guy, and he's having so much fun. He's not there to worry too much about how he does. He just wants to have fun and kill some stuff, and that's an awesome opponent to play against. And so I've got my 8-pack of Hearthguard, and I've done How Brave Are You for the +1. I've got 1 die in the challenge pool just to hedge my bet. And I went in with Osmunds Fury, and I went in against Warriors, thinking, that's right. Half their attacks, I'm going to chew them up. And he's looking at it like, all right, I'm going to get to roll 1 die, and you're going to get to roll 3 with a +1. And I'm looking at him going, yeah, I should probably just decline it. He's like, nah, forget this. We're here to have fun. That's the kiss of death. We're here to have fun. Oh, shit. My dice are probably listening. So, yeah, I roll in, I don't know. I rolled a 3 or 4. He rolls a 6. Yeah, I beat that guy. Okay. So, yeah, my Hearthguard now generate significantly less attacks and don't do that much damage. And it was like one of those. It was the river fords. You're like, I'm going to blow through this ford, and I'm not blowing through it this time.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. A lot of these, the Saga, the challenge abilities are good, but then there's like that, just that little small chance that it could just completely bounce back at you. And, that's where a lot of the fun is, like we were saying. If the opponent can kill some stuff, or if they always, if there's a chance that they can do something, generally they're just happy with that, even if things are going against them. So, okay, cool. Yeah, overall, looks like a fun board for sure, and would love to. I don't think I haven't played them for sure, but you and me will have to get a game in, perhaps. I'd love to try my hand against them. It looks really fun.
Yeah, I'd love to. I think we were talking Saga Storm, Joe, but I think there's been a change in your plans. So another time.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to delay it a month or two, perhaps, to Renegade Open.
Pickup game at Renegade, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. So, okay, cool. Well, thanks for coming on once again.
You're welcome.
You are a powerful force in the Saga community, and definitely appreciate you coming on and doing all these.
You're welcome. Hey, thanks for doing this, Joe. I'm sure I speak for lots of people out there that it's really cool that you're doing this, and I always tune in to hear what other people have to say. So thanks, man. It's cool.
Oh yeah, no problem. We're just trying to spread those good Saga vibes across the land. So.
Right on.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we haven't seen the last of you, and I'll catch you some other time.
Sounds good.
See ya.
Talk to you.
And thus concludes our Norse-Gael battle board review. These guys sound super fun. Thanks to John, as always, for helping out. If you have anything that you'd like to add to the discussion, please post below. If you've been using these guys, I'd definitely love to hear some more awesome stories about duels, challenges, gone well or gone awry. I'm sure there's fun stories for both. And as always, if anybody that you know is interested in the Norse-Gaels, please share this video with them so they can get that little last push they need to go pick these guys up. And if you haven't yet, like and favorite this shit, subscribe, and keep on doing what you're doing. Love you guys out there, and catch you guys next week.
Saga!